Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Thank you for the cross, Lord. Thank you for the price you paid, bearing all my sin and shame. In love you came and gave amazing grace. Thank you for this love, Lord. Thank you for the nail-pierced hands, washed me in your cleansing flow. Now all I know, your forgiveness and embrace. Worthy is the Lamb, seated on the throne. We crown you now with many crowns. You reign victorious, high and lifted up. Jesus, Son of God, the darling of heaven, crucified. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. Thank you for the cross, Lord. Thank you for the price you paid, bearing all my sin and shame. In love you came and gave amazing grace. Thank you for this love, Lord. Thank you for the nail-pierced hands. Wash me in your cleansing flow. Now all I know, your forgiveness and embrace. Worthy is the Lamb, seated on the throne. We crown you now with many crowns. You reign victorious, high and lifted up, Jesus, Son of God, the darling of heaven crucified. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb.
The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God, and served the Baals and the Asherahs. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel, so that he sold them into the hands of Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram Naharaim, to whom the Israelites were subject for 8 years. But when they cried out to the Lord, he raised up for them a deliverer, Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, who saved them. The Spirit of the Lord came on him, so that he became Israel's judge and went to war. The Lord gave Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram, into the hands of Othniel, who overpowered him. So the land had peace for 40 years, until Othniel, son of Kenaz, died. Again the Israelites did evil.
Hi again, guys. Welcome back. And we're just going to continue on last week and how the Israelites, they've just turned their backs on God and fallen to idolatry and worship Baal and Asherah. So we just continue on. And so because what they've done, God handed them to the king of Aram of Naharaim. And so they suffered for 8 years. And then they cried to God. And then God sent Othniel, who became their leader and their judge, and who delivered them. And then they had peace for 40 years. And it was really interesting because there's a cyclical, there's a pattern here that I think the Bible is trying to really highlight and give us some truth into it. And the problem with the people of Israelites, and particularly in Judges, is that whenever there was a leader, they were okay, they were good, they followed God. But whenever that leader died, then they would revert back to their sinful ways and of idolatry and faithfulness to God. And so the Bible's trying to highlight that issue and that problem with the people. So the problem was that they just placed too much emphasis and too much reliance, not on God, but on a person, on a man, to help them to be on the right track, to help them with their faith in God. So the problem was that they didn't place their trust in God, they placed it in a man. And so when that person was no longer there, what happens? They fall back into sin and idolatry again. And so that was the issue. And the issue is that they placed too much dependency on a person rather than God. And so that's what the Bible is trying to highlight here. And so it's the same thing with that as well, is that some of us, we just put too much emphasis on the people around us. And it's so wonderful. One of the great blessings and wonderful thing is that God's given us a family, a community of brothers and sisters in Him, that we can really have that nurture and love and care and support. And it's wonderful. And we not just benefit, but we are placed to benefit and work together to advance the gospel and be part of God's redemptive plan. But one of the issues here is that sometimes we just place too much reliance on a particular person, and we look to them too much rather than God. And so that becomes a bit of an issue, because it opens up for when that person no longer lives up to your expectation standard and that person fails you, what happens to your faith then? Says that you've put too much dependency and reliance on someone or some group, and then that kind of determines your faith and dictates your faith. That becomes quite risky and dangerous. And so the lesson here is that God's saying, guys, put all of your dependency on me. Your faith comes from me, not from man, not from a person or a group, but from me directly. See, I am more than enough for you. I am your God. I'm here. I'm your source of faith and love and hope and all that is good. Not people. We're just part of the community to benefit and to benefit each other and support each other in that. But people shouldn't be your source of faith and determine your faith and your walk with God. It should come from God directly. And so a lot of mistakes that we make is that we think that, this person could provide me what I need, or this youth group or this church could provide me what I need. But then if it doesn't, what happens then? What happens to your faith? Do you fall out and become disillusioned and confused and become angry and upset? So what happens then? So your source of your faith comes directly from God. Your dependency is on God and God alone, not on people. And sometimes we just fall in the trap of placing too much emphasis and reliance on a particular person, and that could really mess us up. And so going through Judges, that was the issue with the people. They placed too much emphasis on a particular leader and person, and when that person is no longer there, problem happens, and so throughout the Bible, that cyclical pattern, the problem with the people was that they didn't really have faith in God. Their trust wasn't really in God. It was on a human being, on a person. And so that's a teaching there. So I just want to read you this verse. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. It says this, and God is able to bless you abundantly. So highlight that word, abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. So the word that we highlight there is abundant and abounding. It's plentiful. It's more than enough. And in all things, having all that you need. So whatever you think that you need, whatever you think that you're lacking, God is there to provide. And it's more than enough for you. See, God is more than enough for you. In Him, you find fulfillment. In Him, you find completeness. And everything comes from Him. And so we don't need to look for anything in people, in groups, because people will let you down. See, the only person that's perfect is Jesus Christ. And so sometimes, and if we place too much emphasis on someone and something bad happens, we become disillusioned. We get confused and upset and angry. So everything draws from God. We find all the goodness, everything that we need, anything that we're lacking, God fulfills and God makes complete. And our growth and our faith comes from God. So especially this time where we don't have the connection to people, we lose that physical connection. But God is there to provide you whatever you need, wherever you're lacking. He is there to complete you, to fulfill you, to bless you. Abundantly, aboundingly. So we don't need to look for that in people. Yes, people are there to help us, to support us, to be part, to have that community, and it's wonderful and it's awesome, and it's just a picture of what heaven is. But it's not where we draw our source of faith from. It's not our total dependency on that. It's God. So I just want to quickly share that with you before we move on as well. And so we see the problem with the Israelites back then, that pattern, that cyclical issue and problem with them was that they placed too much emphasis, dependency on a particular person rather than God. And God's trying to teach him, no, it's me. Your faith comes from me. You should have faith in me, not in men. And so that was a problem. And so may you draw your source and strength and hope and faith in God and all that is good from God, and the comfort and the peace is from God. And then in this time, that is the reality. And may you grow in that wonder that God gives and that God blesses you. And may you draw closer to him each and every day to know more about him and experience more of his love. So that's my message today. Amen. See you later.